Welcome to this episode of The Latest Insights. It wasn't long ago since there was another one because I had to change the time of June's. So it's actually just been 2 weeks instead of 4 weeks. So I was thinking, what has happened in these 2 weeks and has there been any big revelations to share? And it's both yes and no. I feel like there's always a revelation to share. There's always an insight. There's always something. And at the same time, it's been 2 weeks. So we'll see, what comes up. For those of you who are new to my podcast, my name is Elizabeth Finocchiaro. And I am a breathworker, a mentor, and a guide into supporting people feel more ease in their emotions, in their career, in their relationships. And it's really the work of my life. It's art for me. So I really feel healing is an art. It's not it can be work as well. So we have like healing work, breath work, like there's work implied. Inner work is a big part of this. But maybe at one point I'm going to say healing art, breath art, inner art. I don't know. But for me, that's such a big part of it because when I switched from something that needed to be fixed within myself into something that needed to be expressed within myself and really seeing this life as an art, emotional piece, things really shifted for me. So, and that's what I really help my clients with as well, because I have a past of, like many of you can relate, of being hard on myself. I have a past of being anxious, depressed. I have a past of really beating myself up, punishing myself, again, being very hard on myself. That's one of my biggest stories of not like sabotaging, not thinking that I'm worthy of good things in life, of safe love, of feeling good. It was like my direct path was, I don't deserve this. I'm not worthy of this. And being able to rewire that and feel the feelings that I do today, this is my passion to really help people with. And I do that through my programs, my courses, and my membership through breathwork and teaching. So I feel called to just share a little bit of background to place me a bit, because I've been getting this lately, or people are like, well, where are you from? And like, what are you doing? I was born in the US, for those of you who don't know, and I moved to Norway when I was 17. I moved to Norway at a young age, and I spent my summers in Norway and Sicily growing up. So my parents would send me and my brother on a plane alone, and we would just spend 2 months either in Norway or in Sicily with our families. And then we would return almost like a day before school started in the US, and we would go to school. We grew up trilingual, like Norwegian, Italian, and English. And we kind of I lost the Norwegian and Italian a bit as I became a teenager, but we really grew up in this international and also European home in the US. And when I moved to Norway, it was such a turning point in my life. I was 17. I had my whole kind of life in the US. I had a boyfriend, I had a social, high school, like all these things going on. And I decided to leave everything and join my mom back to Norway. And I moved to Bergen. So I lived on the west coast of Norway for 10 years. And I really started to have a spiritual awakening at a young age because I got close to nature. Living in Norway, you get very close to nature and a more simple lifestyle than the US. So I started to change values. I started to grow up. I also started to live on my own when I was 17. So I had to grow up quite quickly. And it came with so much responsibility that I loved and served me so deeply. So I just wanted to give a little bit of context of kind of what I'm coming from. And my dad is Sicilian, my mom is Norwegian. And I found a lot of who I was when I moved to Norway at a young age, had this spiritual awakening, and a lot of it was happening also before, when I was 13, 14, having a mentor, and that kind of amplifying a lot. So I feel in life, I don't know about you, but I feel in life there's different awakenings. These are the levels that I've gone through. I've gone through first a spiritual awakening. That was my first one, where it's like, oh, there's more than meets the eye. Then I went through an emotional awakening, which feels like more heart, which was I have to take accountability and manage what's going on inside of here. Like, how can I apologize? How can I forgive? How can I communicate? How can I acknowledge? How can I relate? Because it's one thing to kind of know that we're all connected, we're all one, there's more than meets the eye, and everything is love. But then what if you don't feel worthy of love? But you know that everything is love, but you don't feel worthy of love. So then I went through an emotional awakening, I call it. And now in my life, which it has been happening for years, because awakenings aren't just like one day. It's a process that's been going on for a while, and you can feel kind of a climax at one point, but it's been going on for a while. And now in my life, I'm feeling more of what I would call a sexual awakening. And it doesn't just mean like sex in that sense, but it's more it's the root. So there's like a spiritual awakening, emotional awakening, and then there's like more of a body awakening. The root, the sexual, the power, the body awakening. And it's a beautiful place to be, because having, like I said, the spiritual awakening is so amazing. And then the emotional awakening is like, okay, I'm having good relationships, I can communicate, I can kind of like handle and manage my emotions, and I'm having awareness and resources. And then the sexual and the body awakening is like, I'm feeling safer in my body, I'm feeling safer in my desires, I'm feeling safer I'm feeling more confident, I'm feeling more free. And I don't know about you, but I tried the other way around, where I had this spiritual awakening at like 18 or something, and then I went straight to the body sexual awakening. So I went to like tantric events and things like this. But I don't know about you, but without the resources, without the emotional awakening, I went into complete collapse, complete shutdown. I couldn't handle the energy at all. I got sick. Like, I remember leaving a tantric event, I would think I was like 20, 21, and I had a fever for a week and had complete panic attack in the space. And the facilitators didn't have the capacity to support me or let me know what was going on with my body, or give me any type of support. It was a big group, and I went to complete shutdown. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going there. And I didn't really find spaces that felt safe to go there anymore. So then I just kept working on the heart, kept working on the heart, kept working on the heart, resource, safety, until we can drop even deeper into the root, into another type of safety, another type of power, another type of embodiment. And when you have those 3 awakenings, and I'm sure there's a lot more, but I feel like these are the 3 main ones that I've experienced, it's a beautiful place and cannot be rushed, cannot be forced, and is a journey of a lifetime. Like, I'm still going through spiritual awakenings, just as we all are, and still going through emotional awakenings, still going through sexual awakenings and body awakenings. But I feel like there's a moment where you kind of break through, where you're just like, okay, now I'm here. So that's my journey a bit. And then I teach and guide and support everything that I learn and everything that I go through, because that's my biggest way of teaching, is through storytelling and direct experience. So I just wanted to share a little bit, let you guys in a little bit what's going on. All right, so what else is going on? It's been 2 weeks. I'm always very grateful when I get messages from you all about the podcast, and I see views on YouTube. I'm like, who's watching that on YouTube? I don't even promote the YouTube. It's so exciting. I'm really grateful. It's good value. Really grateful for that. and yeah, sending messages on about Spotify. And yeah, so thank you all for listening to the podcast and being a part of this. And I just love to, yeah, I know I've shared this before. You'll never understand the impact that you make in the world, so you might as well not even try. But some days it's good to drink it in. Sometimes it's good to take it into your heart and celebrate, because I am doing this because I want to support, I want to serve. So when I know that I am serving, then it's just like, oh, that's amazing. Sexuality is grounding spirituality in the human dimension, is what I've been thinking. I love that. Exactly. It's kind of the bottom, the holding, the container. And once you're in touch with that container, once you're in touch with that, your bottom, your grounding, your root, then you got the whole tree, right? You got the whole container. So yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, so here we are again. There's a concept I want to bring in today that came up with one of my private clients. And in general, it's not that it came up in preparation for a client session, and the word microdosing. So in my life or in my work, I really promote little by little, because I know what it's like in my life. Like I shared with this Tantra event I went to when I was 21, that went from almost 0 or like 10% to 200%. And I got shut down for years. So it's like, let's find another approach. And my approach has been little by little now. And I really am a teacher of that, because it's so needed in this world. Can we go from 0 to 100, 10 to 100, 10 to 500 and hold it? Yes, I believe that now. When I was younger, I couldn't believe that, because I just didn't have the resources. So when, especially the ripple effect is an offer that I have that's included inside Breathe Live, but you can also buy it for $29 a month, which is just amazing offer, amazing place to be. And the concept there is microdosing. Like we are microdosing the 1%, 2%. Like, can you lean in a little bit more? Is there one perspective? Like, it's really your microdose into change. And if you take too much that your system can't handle, there often will be a shutdown. This is the concept of window of tolerance. Maybe you guys have heard it. I forget the guy who coined that kind of psychology concept, but it's about staying within your window of tolerance, but at the same time expanding, so you're not just in your comfort zone all the time, but that you don't expand to shut down or collapse or people pleasing, or you're basically your system saying, we gotta change, we gotta please, we gotta fawn, we gotta get out of here, we gotta avoid, we got to shut down, freeze, or we have to create conflict, create a problem here. We need to question what is going on. So you get into these states of trauma response. So kind of keeping yourself in this window of tolerance and still moving forward at the same time. That's really my way of working, little by little by little by little. So a question here could be like, how can you microdose certain things in your life instead of taking the whole dose? And when you take the whole dose, that you're actually in a container that can hold the whole dose. And the container being an environment and also an internal environment that you feel resources, that you feel you're connected to your power, and that you're not just taking these huge doses in places where you don't feel safe, and also where you don't have the safety within yourself. Another concept that I want to bring in today is the importance of being connected to power within yourself. When certain things come up for you: insecurity, doubt, unworthiness. You're not exactly sure. What would you do if a child came up to you and was not sure about something? Like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. Your first response to the child would probably be, you'd probably assess the situation and say, okay, do they have a chance at this? And if they do, then you're going to really talk them up and be like, you can do this. I saw you do that. Of course you can do this. Come on, I believe in you. You got this. Do you want me to go with you? Do you want me to hold your hand? Should we try this? What do you need? Like, you'll go into this state of supporting this child that is in doubt. And of course, if the thing is way out of the zone of the child, maybe you'll say, okay, well, that's for adults, or that's for somebody that's not your size. Let's try your own size. So keeping in the window of tolerance of that child. And this is what is happening within us. You're coming with things, and you're saying, I want to do this. And then there's a part of you, usually the wounded part of us is a child part of us, or a past part of us that was hurt with the same topic, and says, I don't think I can do it. If you are not connected to your power, if you are not connected to a part of yourself that is secure, the part of yourself that is an adult, the part of yourself that is like in a knowing, then who is going to help this child within you? Do you know who usually helps the child within you? Another child within you. Have you ever seen a child try to solve another child's problems? It's very cute, but it usually ends up in a disaster. I've seen my little cousins. I've been very involved in their life since they were babies, and especially since I moved to the same town as them. So from when they're 5, 6 years old, or 4 or 5 years old, no, 5, 6 years old, until now, 9, 10, 11 years old. And I've seen them try to fix their own problems when they don't think adults are watching. And they're like, no, but just shove it under the thing, no one will see it, right? Or no, let's just put water on it. Just close the sink and clog it, and don't worry. Like, I've seen them try to solve each other's problems, and it's very sweet. And I also encourage them now to come up with their own solving problems. Like, I'll ask them, like, how do you want to solve this? But still, there's a secure person in the room facilitating a conversation. The other day, they texted me, because now they have phones, and I'm a very safe person for them. And she burnt her foot, and she didn't want to tell her mom, but she wanted to tell me. And they were trying to solve the problem without an adult. She really burnt herself. She microwaved a Jolly Rancher in a glass. The glass exploded. She stepped on the glass, and she's texting me, my foot's burned. It's this, and not giving me much context. And I'm like, where's your mom? What's going on? I'm like, put your foot under cold water. So I'm like helping them. But their solution was to not tell their mom, to try to figure it out on themselves, to hide the evidence, to cover the glass without cleaning it up, right? So very cute, but also dangerous. And then the mom had to get involved, and they almost went to the emergency room. So it's like, there are situations where your inner child cannot be solved by another inner child. But that's sometimes what's happening. You're doubting something, and then another part of you that's insecure is like, yeah, no, let's just not do it. Let's just not do it, because if you do it, then I'm going to be like this, and we should just avoid it, and let's just not do it. That's a great idea. Let's just do that. Let's not confront the parts of us that are powerful. Let's keep this between us and never talk about it again, because it's uncomfortable and I don't know what to do with it, but let's just put it under the rug. This is why I hope that this little story and this little like analogy brought some perspective to you, because I see this happening with myself, with psychology, with just how people are wired, with my clients, how like we cannot heal a child like with another child. Of course, beautiful things can happen between children. Beautiful things can happen within the parts of yourself. But we need an adult to regulate a child. That's just how nature has been made. We need an adult to regulate. We need power to heal a wound. A wound cannot heal a wound. So when you're feeling doubt, what can be a normal thing? We reach for more doubt. We reach for insecurity. If you're doubting something, then I used to do this all the time. I would doubt something and I'd say, yeah, it's probably right and I'm not worthy. And then I would just compound all the bad things about me. Instead of taking that moment to be like, can the good parts of me enter the chat right now? Because they are the ones that need to help me here, to regulate this part of me. So there's a lot to this conversation. There's a lot of nuances because it's like, how do we create the power? What if I don't feel connected to my power? Where does that just come from? In one way it's always there, but in another way it needs to be cultivated. It needs to be remembered. It needs some practice a lot of the time to actually be there in the frequency of your power, to know where it is, to know how to access it, to feel confident in the power too, because sometimes feeling in the power can be like, who am I to be so clear and know what I need and know what I want? And so there are a lot of nuances here. But the invitation and the invitation here is to let the powerful part of you be more present in your life. I say this a lot in my work, that the wounds, they just need space to be seen, heard, and met, but by a powerful energy. And power doesn't always, you can also define power. So power doesn't always mean like strong, tough, invincible. It can mean vulnerable, honest, and present. That could be power. That's powerful. To be vulnerable is very powerful. To be honest is probably the most powerful energy frequency. Authenticity, honesty is one of the most powerful frequencies, because you can't threaten it. You can't threaten truth. That's like one of the main quotes from A Course in Miracles. All that is, what is it? The truth cannot be threatened, or something like that. So truth is the highest frequency in that sense for power. And maybe just in general, maybe truth is the highest frequency in general, because it just cannot be threatened. It's just to be honest in the moment is the most powerful you can be. And being honest doesn't always look like, this superhero power. So defining power is very important. Yeah. This is coming up a lot in the ripple effect. We just had this beautiful week together. We were talking about being right on time. And it's coming up so much. It's like, is it coming from a wound or is it coming from power? Because you can do so many things in so many ways. You can do the same thing from power and from a wound, and it's the same exact action, but we'll get complete different results. And this is the conversation of energetics, not strategy. Of like, what do I do? It's like, well, how are you feeling when you're doing it? That's more important. Where is it coming from? That's more important. So how is this landing? For those of you who are live, and for those of you who are listening as well, just notice, how is this landing in your body? This conversation, this topic, or just being here, listening to this. And just taking a little pause. calming. Yeah. Perfect sense. It's all making sense again. It's been some hard weeks. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm very passionate about taking these concepts and really grounding them so that they're applicable and that they make sense in a new way. And it's obviously your readiness and your willingness and your ears to be able to, or like your openness to be able to receive it and feel it, and the resonance that we create together. So the more resonance we have, the easier the information goes through and down into the body, because there's less resistance and we're speaking the same language. And I just love hearing that so much. And it's really a passion of mine to create clarity in certain situations that feel so abstract. It feels so abstract, and then I really love to organize. So I'm really hoping that this is helping you, because I love organizing abstract energy, like emotions in the human experience. It's one of my favorite things in the world to do that. It's very clear, 100% helpful. That makes me very, very happy. And then we don't have to be so afraid of it anymore. I think that's also like a benefit of organizing energy, landing beautifully. That's so great. Is that suddenly you're not that afraid of the processes and the abstractness anymore, because you kind of know the abstract is abstract. Okay, so I can't bring my logic into abstract. What I can do with abstract is hold space for it to play out, but I'm not it. I'm experiencing it. So it's like when you really kind of land with these foundational like framings, and then you're not so afraid of the inner landscape anymore, because everything kind of has like a protocol. And it kind of sounds boring if like you're gonna make protocols for yourself, but it has created so much safety for myself. It has created so much safety in my relationships. Like I have frameworks for things. And this is something I go so deeply inside of healing the heart. This program is the ultimate emotional intelligence resource program. When I talk about the emotional awakening, this is all like healing the heart stuff, where not only is it energetic conversations, healing, this type of things, but there's also a 30-page workbook where it's just organizing all of these, like how do we get a framework for all of these different things. Because, and I was just sharing this inside of the integration call and Breathe Live, the body, I believe the body will always want framing. Even if you're a very feminine being, so you love being in your feminine energy, I'm highly feminine being, but I still have the masculine, the yin and the yang, like I still have it, and I will always crave it. I will always desire a framing. I will always desire safety. I will always desire a container. I will always desire this holdingness, like the riverbank, right? The river always has the sides. And if you are more in your masculine, there will always be a part of you that wants to be free, that wants to be completely expressed, that wants to let go of control. There's always these aspects to ourselves, and if we don't give it to ourselves, I guess there will always be like, what is it? If you don't give it to yourself, then you're gonna have to like create situations where, what happens when we don't give ourselves what the body really wants? We create distrust. So the body's like, I want framing, I want to kind of like have a little edge to bounce off of, and you don't give that to yourself, and then suddenly after a while you don't get what you want, and then that feeling of, okay, well, I'm not going to ask more of what I want because I don't get what I want anyway, so I don't trust that I'm going to get it. And I love creating frameworks. And I also have to check in with myself, to be honest, to be transparent about like how I am in this process. Is I love creating frameworks. People that know me, I'm quite organized person in general, but I'm also a type B person, so I'm not like, I don't care if things are a mess. I don't care if, I don't have everything like planned and organized. Like, I'm not that type of person, but I need a framing in order for me to feel safe in a relationship, in a agreement, in a situation. I like a good framing. It can be wide, but I like to make sure that, everything's taken into consideration. What do you want? What do I want? Does it match? Does it need more? Da, 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 da. Like, I really appreciate that. And then where in my life are the walls going a little bit too much in? Maybe you can ask yourself the same question. Where are your walls a bit too out, and where are they a little bit too in? Because I notice sometimes I can get so in the organization vibe that I get out of my feminine. It's like this feminine and masculine energy. I can go really into my masculine and want more safety. But what is that telling me? That I'm trying to find safety in the framing instead of safety in my expression. And that's like that's the constant dance that I'm going through, where I have to get off the computer, get out of my calendar, get out of my mind, and get more into my body, and trust and allow the waters to keep moving, and to trust where the waters take me, and trust that the riverbanks are going to hold me as well. So really noticing that in your own life. Where could you benefit from more framework because your body wants it? It's a necessary part. What is framing, or how do you find a good framing? Yeah, so framing is basically, it's like in Norwegian ramme. When you put a picture in a frame, it's a ramme. And same with English, a frame, picture frame. It's the holding of something. So the framing of this podcast is that it's on Zoom, it's max 1 hour, it is going to be uploaded on Spotify, YouTube, it is free. That's the framing. That's what's holding it. But what I say inside is kind of free for me to express myself. So framing is what is holding the inside. So you can frame a relationship, you can frame a conversation, you can frame a meeting, saying, okay, we have 45 minutes. We're not going to talk about this or this. We're going to stay focused on this. Like, that's a framing. You can frame with your emotions, like inside of Healing the Heart. We talked a lot about, like, what do I do when I go into a process? Okay, this is the things that like there's the different framings that you can do. So I hope that defined. And how do you find them is basically, it's really feeling into, like, how can you stay as present as possible in the moment? Also the fundamentals or the basics. Yeah, it can be the foundation and the basics, and it can also be, it can be whatever it is you want it to be, really. The framing is just in the moment, how much can you give? And how clear can you be about that? How much can you be present, and how clear can you be about that? So it's like a leadership thing. Framing is a lot about leadership, but then it's like, make sure your leadership doesn't go into like over controlling life and things. So the next round of Healing the Heart is in November, and now there is a pre-sale for it. And I really recommend this if any of these conversations are kind of lighting up inside of you and you're like, I want more framework, I want more resources. This program could be so supportive for your healing journey to really go from abstract and downward spirals to organization and confidence. That's really like the path. And not saying that you have to be like in a downward spiral to join Healing the Heart. You can also be in quite a high level and just take yourself to the next one. Like there's endless levels to experience. But I always recommend that course. It is a foundation course. It's like a great place to be in my world. So I can really recommend it. Yeah, thank you so much. I'll put the link in the chat here, but it'll also be in the show notes for the ones watching or listening. So I'm wondering if there's anything else that I want to bring today. Anything else that's coming up, the latest insights. Trust has been a big topic in the brand the past 2 weeks. I held a free event called the Frequency of Trust. There's going to be a part 2 when I come back from my summer vacation, which I'm very looking forward to. Right now, if you join Frequency of Trust, it's completely free. You get a masterclass, a teaching segment, and a breathwork session where I'm diving into the energy and the topic of trust. And it's such a beautiful topic. Obviously, the word trust is the most, for me, it's like my life word. I know sometimes like inside Breathe Live, we always pick like a monthly word, and you can have intentions and kind of like phases in your life. But for me, trust is my lifetime word. It's my big thing. And it's been such a incredible experience. So I won't dive so much into what I talked about there. You'll just have to experience it for yourself. So if you're not in there, the link will be in the show notes, and once you sign up completely free, you'll get all the replays and all the information for the upcoming classes in the end of the month. So I really recommend diving into that. And there's a lot of other opportunities to work together right now. I know that usually I weave them into the episode, but since it's only been 2 weeks, I feel like the weaving part is not as fluid. But if you want to join the north of Norway to Lofoten, I'm having my ease retreat in the beginning of September, which is just such an experience to be with nature, to have multiple days of teaching, breathwork sessions, and just to go north is a vision quest in itself. It's like an initiation in itself to go to the north of Norway. It's so beautiful there. And I teach my ease principle, which is sort of like healing the heart in person. It's the same concept of like really noticing the parts of you that want to push, the parts of you that want to be hard on yourself, and really finding new ways to do incredible things in the world, but not have to like push yourself to edges all the time, but actually realize that there's easier ways to do everything that you want to do. But we just have to kind of break down all the layers of you telling yourself it's not possible. And that is the ease retreat that I'm very looking forward to. The beautiful experience, the trust event, or a beautiful experience, And what else do I want to share? Breathe Live is always the place to be for all the things, the sessions, the integration calls, the masterclasses, the meditations. You also get bonuses like the ripple effect, the foundation course, and liminal, which was an interesting course that I did during between Christmas and New Year's, this idea of being in between. So that's also an extra course that you get there. So that's always a place where if you're thinking of going deeper with me, Breathe Live would be an incredible kind of next step to do that and have this in your life more and more and more. So is there anything coming up for those who are joining live now? And I'm going to feel into if there's any last, insights that I want to share. I'm definitely feeling excited to go to Sicily and to be back in, one of the island where my dad is from and where I spent a lot of time when I was young, just connecting back to the land there and the culture and that part of myself that hasn't been expressed as much as the Norwegian part and the American parts, like the part of me that I feel in one way almost the most connected to, but practically haven't spent the least time there. It's the place in the world that I feel I fit in with my appearances and my name. Everyone knows my last name in Sicily. And I look Italian and all these things, which I don't in Norway. And it's just something about fitting in. There's a survival thing about just fitting in and feeling like you look like people. It's definitely something I experience that's really good for my body. And I just feel the Mediterranean Sea and the sun down there. My body responds to it like it knows it's home. So I'm looking forward to share on the next latest insights how it was for me to be there and everything. So hope you can have an event in Sicilia on time. Yeah. Thank you for bringing ease again and again. Guys, I'm gonna look at a retreat center down there when I'm there. Belonging, exactly. It's just, that's it. We want to feel like we belong. And of course, we create that within ourselves, and then we create it wherever we go. But there's something about connecting to the land where your blood and your DNA is from. There's something about it. And yeah, I was just reconnecting with my father's side of the family. Lots of healing became available. Yeah. Primal just makes sense. We all want this belonging. And something that's been really important for me as well on my path in life is to be very integral with where I come from and what I represent in my work. So as I was having a spiritual experience, a lot of spirituality can often come from Asia nowadays, or Central or South America, because they are still so connected to their spirituality and their culture, where North America and Europe, spirituality is hidden. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, like the Native Americans were holding the spirituality in North America. In Europe, there was different, in Norway we have Sami, and there's some cultures and some countries in Europe that still have their natives, but not really, because Christianity just took over and really hid all of the late spirituality. So spirituality in Europe became religion. And this is something that's, I feel very sad as a European, and I am walking the path of really connecting to your European spirituality, because Eastern spirituality, it's a deep wound. It really is. It's buried under the church. And so a lot of the spirituality of like North Americans and Europe's is actually coming from South America. People doing ayahuasca, people doing going to Bali, going to India, going to Hinduism, like going into all this Eastern philosophy, which is beautiful. Like it all gets to be there. We all get to be inspired. But what happened to the European spirituality? What do we stand for? What is our magic? What is our land giving to this world? And for me, and I'm walking a path, a European shamanic path that not many people know about. I don't talk so much publicly about it, but I have been initiated into this path by a woman from Austria, so Central Europe. And there is what did I want to say now? Yeah. So there's different energies in the world, and the European spirituality has an essence of chaos, has an essence of pleasure, has an essence of enjoyment. And you can really see it. You still see it in the culture in Europeans, a bit more laid back than North America, for example. They're a bit more into enjoying. Like you can see, just typical, when people think of Europeans, there's definitely a lot more laid back. That was my experience of moving to Europe from North America. A lot more laid back, a lot more down to earth. So I try to embrace this as much as possible, this European path of messiness, of chaos, of expression, of not needing things to be perfect. When you go into Central America, the Americas, it's more the love frequency, the passion. And you can see that it's quite orderly, and it's about love, like the heart energy. I think the heart chakra of the world is in Colombia or something, if I'm not totally mistaken here. So it's a lot like corazón, like passion, where Europe is more like sex and chaos and mess. And the East, in Asia, it's more going towards Asia, it's more order. We call it the death force. Like it's more, there's structure. It's more like the Zen movement, and like not to have so many things, and really giving yourself. And there's different energies in this world. Spirituality is manifested very differently. And yeah, so I'm just sharing from my this is completely like a personal share right now. Very interesting working with people in different places of the world. Yeah. And I guess Africa is coming in with just this community, and I don't know if they're more in like the love or the lust, or I'm not sure, but it's really, I don't even know how I got into talking about this, you guys. Or the integrity, Sicily, yeah, okay, everything like that. Okay, we're back. The land of our native people, who was here 5,000 years before us, became Christian by blood, Brennevin and Bagnetas, yeah. Am I muted? You guys can't hear me? Oh, now you can hear me. Okay, great. So, yeah, something that I think this all started when I was saying I'm excited to go to Sicily, because integrity is really important for me. So I don't think I can, if I want to teach more the path of spirituality, or the path of some sort of shamanism, or some sort of connection to the earth, I will have to get connected to the earth that I came from. If I am connected, I've been to South America, I've been to Asia, but if I connect to the land there, I am a guest. I'm a guest there. I'm a guest. So if you're taking plant medicine from South America in Europe, there is a thing. There's like an energy. Like even cacao for me is like, I love cacao, and I've been to cacao farms in Central America, South America. But I wouldn't teach how to hold it. I would never hold a cacao ceremony publicly. One, unless I was initiated, but still, even if I was initiated, I would always be a guest to that medicine. So I just want to let you guys in a little bit of where I stand with all of this. And I'm not saying things are wrong if you hold a cacao ceremony publicly. Like, everything's going to be okay. We all get to be different, and I believe that the medicine wants to spread. And if you do it in a good way and you get it from a good place, but I just don't do that. I go to cacao ceremonies with people who come from the land of the cacao. And yeah, what is our gift? Exactly. Where is your land that you're protecting, that you're standing for? What are the words from the land? What are the lessons from the land? What's the medicine from the land? So in my events, I don't use sage or palo santo, or I use sage that I grow myself, but I use burut, like Norwegian herbs. European herbs. I stopped buying sage and Palo Santo and everything like this because it's not our gift, it's not our medicine in Europe. We have our own herbs, guys. But no one knows this. So we're like buying Palo Santo from South America. And it's like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, we get to enjoy Palo Santo from South America or incense from India. Like, I have some incense that maybe is from India. Like, but do you know your plants around you on your land? And we need more grounded Europeans that are working with European gifts, not Europeans going to South America and bringing ayahuasca and holding ayahuasca ceremonies. So I'm a bit passionate about this, just letting you guys a little bit in on where I stand with all of this. And again, I'm not judging, I'm just having discernment, and I'm just standing where I stand. And people can join, and people can, you know, be inspired by that and stand with me, and or not stand with me. It's all good. For me, it's all good. Yeah, Ubuntu. I've read about Ubuntu as well. Yeah. I love that as well. I mean, Africa is leading in so many values with spirituality that is just incredible. And they bring so much gifts. They know their land. They know their land. So this summer, maybe you can connect to your land a little bit. And maybe your hometown or your family is not the best, is in best contact right now. But maybe the land will always take you in. The land will always remember who you are. Always. So thank you all for being here. And I know we went to like a whole other conversation here at the end that I usually don't talk so much about, but I always trust that when it comes up, it comes up. And I love being transparent, open, and letting you guys in a little bit more, because I know that I don't always share like everything on social media publicly all the time about my opinions and things like this. So grateful that I got to do it here. Again, this feels like a frame for me. The latest insights is a framing. Feels more safe to talk about certain things here than it is just like on my Instagram stories or something. But maybe I'll do that one day as well. So take what resonated, leave what doesn't. Trust your own guidance, trust your own way of leading yourself. A mentor of mine right now, she gave me a sentence that really supported me, and it was like, no one gets to choose how I lead from here. And I've been really sitting with that. Nobody else gets to choose how I lead my life from here. So try to take that with you right now as well, like really listening to your own guidance, your own voice, your own rhythm, your own truth, your own trust, all of these things, so that you can continue guiding yourself, because that's really what it's about. And enjoy as much as possible, because that is the European way. And I know a lot of Europeans listen to my podcast, so we're meant to enjoy. We're meant to enjoy so much and be in a mess and enjoy the mess. That is the gift of the Europeans to the world. And then there's other gifts for other places for us as well. So I will see you where we are next connected. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions about offerings or working together. And I will say one more thing. I'm going to announce it in around 1 hour, but I have made new ways of working one-on-one together. So even a VIP, like a weekend experience that I'm creating. So I'm going to be launching that. So if you are interested, you can send a message and I will send you the offers. So you have to let me know if you want them. I'm not going to publicly announce the offers, but I will share with you a document where I have all the offers listed. So it's for drop-in sessions, to come visit me in Gjøvik and have in-person sessions, to have a weekend immersion, and also online mentorship. So if you are thinking about wanting to dive deeper into my one-on-one work, this could be incredible. It would be incredible to serve you and work that way together. Thank you all so much, and I will see you next time. Bye, everyone.